Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have something a little different, being my unboxing and first impressions of the M4 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch. Quickly going over the specs as I unbox it, this M4 Max 16-inch MacBook Pro is configured with the 14-core CPU, 32-core GPU, and 16-core Neural Engine with 36GB of unified memory and 1TB of storage in the silver color with the standard glossy display, which retails for around 4,649 Canadian or around 3,200 US dollars. As this is my first Apple Silicon 16-inch MacBook Pro with the new redesign, I just have to say, wow. I really do like the more squared off body, more robust chassis, and actual ports. There's the new MagSafe, 3 insanely fast Thunderbolt 5 USB-C ports, a high impedance 3.5mm headphone jack, an HDMI port, and a full-sized SD card slot. The silver is the default classic color I always go for all of my Apple products. And as always, Apple does build quality and attention to detail like no one else. I do like the contrast between the dark keyboard and the silver body, as well as the full-size function row and Touch ID. The keyboard feels very tactile and nice to type on, similar but firmer with less travel than my Magic Keyboard. The trackpad is also stupid massive and it's awesome. It's even bigger than the Magic Trackpad and has all the wonderful tracking, gestures, and force touch haptic feedback that you would expect from a MacBook. Now taking a look at the screen, it is absolutely incredible. It's a 16.2 inch with a resolution of 3546 by 2234 with a pixel density of 254. It is quantum dot mini LED with 1600 nits peak brightness in HDR and 1000 nits in SDR, P3 wide color gamut, and ProMotion 120Hz adaptive refresh rate. I think this is probably the closest you can get to a perfect laptop display. This MacBook display is even sharper, more color accurate, brighter, and faster than even my $2,000 Apple Studio display. The curved edges and the super thin bezels are also a nice touch, and I don't really mind the notch as I do have my menu bar visible at all times on my desktop anyways. Another thing that surprised me is just how loud and detailed these speakers are. Definitely the best laptop speakers I've ever heard. Now for the part you've all been waiting for, the performance. For reference, this new M4 Max 16-inch MacBook Pro is going to be replacing my 2019 Intel Mac Pro. My Mac Pro is configured with the 12-core Intel Xeon, 48GB of RAM, 1TB of storage, and the Radeon Pro 5700X GPU with 16GB of video memory. Running some quick synthetic benchmarks, it is ridiculous how much faster the M4 Max is compared to my Mac Pro. My Mac Pro in Geekbench 6 scores 1351 in the single-core performance and 9580 in the multi-core performance. Meanwhile, my M4 Max MacBook Pro scores 3957 in single-core performance and 23,149 in multi-core performance. This has to be some of the fastest single-core and multi-core performance I've ever seen in a Mac to date, with the M4 Max MacBook Pro being around 3 times as fast as the Mac Pro in single-core performance and almost 2.5 times faster in terms of multi-core performance. And in terms of GPU performance, the Mac Pro's Radeon Pro W5700X scores 93,969 in Geekbench's Metascore compute compared to the 160,266 score of the M4 Max with the 32-core GPU. Again, some very substantial and impressive performance gains. Synthetic benchmarks are cool and all. How does the M4 Max actually perform and what it's like to use? This laptop is insanely overkill for normal web browsing, video watching, documents, and typical schoolwork without breaking a sweat. In everyday use, everything is just so much more snappier and quicker than the older Intel Macs. But putting it to the test with something a little more demanding, I primarily use my Mac for programming, media design, and some gaming on the side. And unlike most YouTubers, I don't video edit all the time aside from this YouTube channel, so I'll just quickly go over video editing. Of course, the M4 Max handles simple 4K video editing like mine with no problem. Timeline scrubbing and playback is flawless. And due to the M4 Max's dual video encoders and larger memory bandwidth, this 8-minute 4K HDR video took the MacBook Pro only 2 minutes to export. Now running some of my code, smaller projects such as this compile nearly instantly, and even the largest digital art and media design projects I have, the M4 Max handles without problem. Another thing I tried on the M4 Max is gaming. I sometimes game on my Mac Pro via Windows Boot Camp, but however with Apple Silicon I do have to jump through some extra hoops to get games running. But this M4 Max games surprisingly well. At near native resolution on maximum settings in Elden Ring, it gets a pretty consistent 50 to 60 FPS, which is pretty impressive for a MacBook. Despite this being the M4 Max variant of the new MacBook Pro, which has the worst battery life in the lineup, battery life has been absolutely incredible, easily outlasting my old Intel MacBook Pro and easily lasting me multiple days on light use. And for gaming and video editing, or some of my other coding and digital design, it lasts roughly around 3 to 5 hours on the high performance setting. So definitely very impressive. Wrapping up my first impressions, I honestly think it is really impressive how Macs have improved in the last couple of years due to Apple Silicon. This M4 Max MacBook Pro that has incredible battery life, runs nearly silent and doesn't thermal throttle, outperforms a $10,000 Mac Pro many times over. To be honest, this M4 Max is probably overkill for my personal use, but it is an incredible machine that I will be keeping for many years to come. Of course, this is all just my first impressions, and there's a lot of new features of this MacBook Pro that I've skipped over. There will be a more in-depth, full review of this M4 Max MacBook Pro many months later, and with more in-depth testing and usage. Let me know if you would like to see more tech-related videos like this, and if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.